So before we start the skin, I just want to give you a brief overview of the instructions. So we've tried to be clear on where the glue should be applied. We've also given each part a code. So the first part of the barrel is called BA, second part of the barrel is called BB, and so on and so forth through each part of the build. We've also made sure that each page is labelled on the instructions so you know where to look in order to get the relevant cardboard piece. Okay, so let's start with the first piece, which is the barrel tip, so that's BA. So we'll take that from sheet number 5, just pop that out. Always remember to push through from the coloured side to the white side to avoid any tearing. I'm also going to remove this second part because that is for step 2, so I'll take that out of P5, so page 5, straight away, so I can continue with that piece in just a second. So again, remember to carefully push through from the coloured side to the white side and to make sure we don't tear any of the pieces. So there you go, we've got the first 2 pieces for our first 2 steps. So I'll just put that to one side. So take the end of the barrel. Importantly here for the barrel tip is to really roll it up into a kind of a tube before you glue it to make sure there's less pressure on the actual join. So we'll just roll that up and turn it into a tube. Just get our super glue. Also good always to have something to kind of lean your super glue up against and to keep putting the lid back on so nothing drips out. So take the barrel tip and coil that round the barrel nice and tightly so you get a nice tight join. Hold that in place. And then what you really want to do is take the glue and apply the glue directly to the edge of that barrel tip to make sure you get a good hold and that you don't get any kind of pieces of card sort of gaping from the main piece. So once you apply the glue, squeeze that down tightly. Little tip with super glue, your fingers don't stick to it if you keep them moving. So just keep applying pressure to that join and you should have a nice tight barrel tip. Okay, so then we'll move on to step 2. So we'll take the piece that we had pushed out of page 5 earlier. A little tip for removing the small holes from the card. A headphone plug works quite well to pop those little pieces of card out of the die cuts. So again, push those out from the coloured side to the white side and try and twist them off to make sure again we don't have any tearing. So push those out and take the other pieces of excess card out of the die cut, so we don't need those. So push those 3 out. Then I always use a pair of scissors in order to get these 4 little pieces of paper out. So if you just push through the corner of each one of those 4 pieces, very gently making sure you don't cut the card because it's quite thin on those joins, and then turn it over to the white side and just sort of pull those gently out, or try and kind of twist them off as it were, to try and avoid again any tearing of the card. Again, if you tear it on the white side it's not quite so bad because you don't really see this white side. Okay, so now you've got the piece finished. One little tip again is I cut a little sliver of card from the small screw hole. It just makes it easier to put in the screw a bit later. So now, before you try and stick this together, it's important to kind of make the shape that you're looking to achieve. Again, this makes that minimises the kind of amount of pressure on the glue. It also makes it kind of easier to stick together. So you'll see the kind of the score lines on the white side of the paper. Just bend the card along those score lines in order to make the general shape that you're trying to achieve. So once you've got that, slot the barrel in. Okay, so you can put those tabs in underneath and fold the barrel or fold the sight round the barrel so you can kind of see what you're trying to achieve. So you've got those 4 flaps that are sticking through the 4 small holes. I'm going to start with the centre flap, so apply some super glue to that. Clips are very good if you've got any for this piece because you can apply clips and then carry on with the gluing, but I've not got any for this demo, so I'm just going to use my fingers. So we've glued the middle piece in, and now we're going to glue the two flaps on one side. So apply a little bit of super glue and then stick those 2 down. Again, I normally find the super glue takes sort of maybe 5 to 10 seconds to take hold. So once you've got those sides, you can turn it over and do the other side again. I just sort of bend them backwards just to help me get the super glue on, and also to make it more flexible, so that again it's not so much pressure on the joint when you're getting it to hold. So once you've glued those two pieces, basically finish the card piece. You've got to screw it into place after that. So just make sure they're dry. Now to get this little screw in the side, so it's one of the card screws, so it's got like a sort of almost like a built-in washer. Squeeze the paper together, so put the small flap inside, and then squeeze those two pieces of card together until you can see the hole in the plastic through that screw hole. And then pop in the screw, and then just give it a couple of twists with the screwdriver, just to make sure that the screw actually bites. And once you've got that, then you know it's in, and you can hold onto the barrel and firmly screw that screw in. Make sure the screw's straight and not screwing out of the side. So that's it. That's your step 1 and step 2 complete.